Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching The Sit Down. Glynn Turman is here with us. Very special honor to be talking to him today. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm cool. I'm cool. How's yourself?
I'm doing great. Listen, we got a holiday weekend coming up. There's lots of good stuff to watch, and you've had an amazing career. But I want to start talking a little rodeo with you because recently on CBS, we had the Bill Pickett Invitational, all black rodeo. It was on Juneteenth. You got to check it out. What was that experience like for you?
Man, I can't tell you how great that was. You have to understand, we've been doing this rodeo for what 37 years now. It's a long time. And so this attention being paid to the rodeo, this Juneteenth of all days, was a real, just a unbelievable experience. Never, it was a long time coming. And
Yeah, what's it been like to see it grow for all these years?
yeah, it's just and to culminate in this format is just unbelievable, unbelievable. I just wish that Lou Basant, who started the rodeo, could have been here to see this happen.
What do you personally love about the rodeo when you think about it?
Well, you know what I really love about it is it's such a family event. As rodeo is all around the country and the world. But it's such a family affair. The Bill Pickett Rodeo has been touring the United States for, like I said, 37 years, and now it's a third generation of people involved. Grandkids and kids and grandkids have now come on board, and you kind of see everybody. You kind of get to know each other's families, and see who's the new addition, and the little ones riding, with all the little boots on and the little cowboy cap hat, and the whole deal, and the big eyes watching the clown and the bulls and all that kind of stuff, and the oohs and ahs, and everybody just becomes a great big family, and that's one of my main takeaways from this event after all these years.
Well, speaking of all these years, you've been doing this acting thing for a minute. I mean, you've spanned several decades here. So why don't we just start broadly here? How have you
Yeah.
sustained success for all these years?
Well, the first thing is that I still love it. I still love acting. I still love the craft. I still love trying to get better at what I do. I still love trying to communicate with people, through the medium of stage or screen or television. And I love telling stories. I guess I'm a natural griot. Griots are the traditional storytellers African from Africa. They were called griots, who were the keepers of the history and the tales of the tribe. So I guess I'm a throwback to that kind of responsibility, and I enjoy it.
So you've been telling stories for a really long time. I know Fargo is a great story that you've been telling recently. What's been the best part of that experience so far?
Well, Fargo has just been wonderful, man. Just you know, Noah Hawley is just a fantastic storyteller, and he crafted a story with which he brought on Chris Rock and myself and Timothy Oliphant and so on and so forth. A wonderful, wonderful cast, and we just had such a great time being a part of that Fargo saga, which is just one of those just kooky enough shows. You know what I mean? Just kooky enough to make it go, what in the world was that? I didn't, So when you watch it, being a fan of Fargo, you go, what made him do that? What made? And then when you're a part of it, creating that suspense or that kookiness, it's like, oh man, I get to do this, So it was really special. Really special.
One of the things I really love about your career is just the range that you've had. So you can go from a show like Fargo, and you can also do Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, whether it's on the stage or doing the film for Netflix. I mean, the fact that you were in the theater doing that and then you saw it become a big thing. I mean, what was most special about that experience in terms of turning it into a movie?
Well, being a part of that journey, that Ma Rainey journey, to see it go from the stage, which we had a wonderful experience, had a fantastic cast, you know, and then to have Denzel Washington come on board and come backstage after seeing the show one evening, and coming over and saying to me, hey man, I'm getting ready to do this on screen, and I want you to be a part of that too, And a couple of years later, you know, that came to fruition, and so Denzel came through with it, and put together another magnificent cast, and told it on a palette that the entire world gets to see now, and boy, again, that's another wonderful journey that I've been blessed to be a part of.
When you think about that project, it's so simple in so many ways and how it's presented, but it's so complex, right? And you see that with Viola Davis. You obviously see that with Chadwck Boseman. I mean, listen, man, you've worked with a lot of special people, but Chadwck seemed like he just poured everything into that. So what was it like to witness that and work with him on it?
Well, he did pour everything into it, especially under the circumstances. That's what set it apart to a degree. I didn't expect anything less of Chadwck because I was a fan of his other work, So I saw that he was one that always brought the goods, that I don't want anybody to mistake that he might have been given some special treatment to this particular piece. No one knew that he was dealing with what he was dealing with, and I think that, and I know that even under other circumstances, he would have brought his very best game to this production, which he did. So, I didn't expect anything less of the young man seeing his body of work.
Another great part of your career is that, people, whether it's TV or movies, they flip something on, they see you, right? So recently was The Way Back, and it's you and Ben Affleck, and you're working with him, and you're carrying him out of the bar, making sure he gets home. What was it like working with him?
He's heavy.
Big guy, right?
Ben's a big guy. He's solid too, man, So that was a great experience working with Ben. He's such an iconic figure in the world of cinema, and so we got it done.
Well, I like that one. I was really personally a fan of House of Lies. I thought you were great in that. You worked with Don Cheadle, Kristen Bell. What was the best part of that run? Because you had a couple of years to really build that show out on Showtime.
Yeah. We did a 5-year run on it. We wanted to quit. They wanted to quit before it wore out its welcome, which cut it short. 5 years is not short. That's a successful run. But Don is just a great guy. And he had a ball with that character. I had a ball, and the cast was fantastic. Jeannie Bell, was fantastic. And again, that just kooky enough stuff. That just the kind of thing that just makes it a little like, what are we doing? What is that? What are you? What are we? And it's the kind of stuff that draws people in, keeps people tuned in, and finding that niche that keeps people tuned in is the key.
Well, the same thing can be said about The Wire when it was first on and people are still binging it. I mean, what do you remember when you first got the part of the mayor?
The Wire, here's what happens with The Wire. And this doesn't really answer your question, but it shows you the effect of The Wire. Is after my run with The Wire, my stint with The Wire, I would go in for other parts in other productions, talking with the producers and talking with the directors of other productions. And inevitably, somewhere along the line in that meeting, someone in that room would go, okay, so enough of this. Now, let's talk about The Wire. And I'm in the room for another 20 minutes talking about The Wire. You know, everybody loved The Wire, and it was just that it was so well written. It was so smart, you know, and it's not a bad piece to have under your belt as one of your projects, you know.
Is The Wire the best TV show of all time?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like it's The Wire and The Sopranos right there, neck and neck.
Yeah, probably, but The Wire, you know, for me, it's The Wire. You know, it's just so unexpected. It's, you know, just so unexpected.
When you think about your career, you've had a lot of great moments, but why don't we go way back? Give me your memories of Cooley High, that first comes out, and what life was like for you walking around the street in the 70s.
Well, you know, Cooley High changed a lot for me. You know, I spent a lot of time in the projects. You know, I had an aunt, my mother's sister, who lived in the projects in New York, Lower East Side, and so I had a lot of friends there in the projects. And all of a sudden, one day, there was a banging on the door, and all this commotion in the hallway. And I heard all this, and I'm wondering, what in the world is that? And I go to the door, and I open the door, and the hallway is just jam-packed with mostly kids, you know, mostly young people. And they're all screaming, "Can we have your autograph? Hey, Glenn, hey, Preach, can we have your autograph?" Now, these kids I've been playing with, you know, hanging with forever, you know, but all of a sudden, there's this whole clamor for this guy called Preach, who's me, you know, and all they're asking for is my autograph, and I can't get down the hall. I can't get, you know, I can't walk through the projects anymore, you know, and it was like, whoa! It just changed my whole dynamic as to who I was perceived to be, you know, and it has stayed like that. You know, Preach is one of the characters that people refer to me quite often, especially if I go to Chicago. Don't let me go to Chicago. I mean, when we were filming Fargo, we filmed Fargo actually in Chicago, and not far from Cabrini Green, where, which is no longer there, those projects, but the area is still there, and some of the residents have taken up residence in other places, and still, you know, I'm walking back to my hotel and, hey, Preach, you know, how you doing, you know? So that character is probably my landmark character. The Preach and Colonel Taylor from A Different World series.
It's amazing how things last, right? I mean, I know folks ask you a lot about being married to Aretha Franklin and what that time was like. You know, what is something that we don't know a lot about her? What's something that was really underrated that you and other folks got to know just knowing her personally?
Well, that she loved to tell jokes. She had a great comic sense and a great comic timing, and would love to tell jokes, you know, and to tickle the hell out of me. She thought they were funny, and sometimes they really were. Sometimes they were corny as hell, you know.
That's awesome. Well, Glenn, thanks for hanging out, man. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again down the road. All right.
Take care. Thank you for the time.